Every story you love, every invention that moves you, every idea you wished was yours, all began as nothing. Just a blank page with a blinking cursor, asking a simple question. What do you see? Great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
The detective said missing kids usually come home. What happens when they don't?
Based on a true story.
Police looking for John Gacy.
We discovered bodies. By the looks of it, they're younger men.
The things he did to those kids. He's sick.
The system failed these families.
Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Do you know how many there are?
Up to you to find out.
Welcome to Why We Roll, a tabletop role-playing game design podcast by the Stillfleet Studio. We're your hosts, Chris Pickett, creator of the historical fantasy game Dance Macabre, and Wythe Marshall, creator of the political sci-fi game Stillfleet. Through the show, we hope to amplify new creative voices. We chat with different indie TTRPG designers, talking through a range of questions that are pertinent to many designers, players, and GMs. We hope to showcase fresh and even challenging ideas about what makes imagination-based games so powerful. Before we introduce today's guest, a reminder. If you enjoy this episode, please consider supporting the show and all of our games over at patreon.com/Stillfleet. Okay, let's find out why we roll. Hey everybody, welcome back to Why We Roll, the tabletop role-playing game design chat show. As always, I'm Christopher Pickett, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Wythe Marshall.
Hello.
And tonight we are joined by our friend Eric Silver, joined once again by our friend Eric Silver. And we're going to do some chatting about and also some playing of Eric's new game, Model Our Nations.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Beautiful.
All the audio people, you can't see it, but just know it's pretty. Hi, I'm so glad to be back. It's the first time that I was on here with Amanda, it was like actual play, blah blah blah. But y'all, I know you two spend so much time making games that I'm like, what if I made a game and I could talk about the real crunchy shit? Now I did, and now we get to talk about the crunchy shit. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Now we can invite you into the secret game design star chamber. No, it's great. Congrats on having a game. It's available in print, so we should say top of the show. You can find it. You can Google it. We'll put things in the chat and in the show notes, but you could also just Google Model Our Nations. Hello, Vex, for joining. Thank you once again. And we're going to play a little and discuss, Eric, some of the ideas. Real quick pitch is, it seems related to the Model United Nations and just generally politics. So real good fit with this show, which is about TTRPGs, and politics.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, Model Our Nations, as I describe it, is how you play out a secret meeting of the world government, whether in real life or in the in a world you make up all together, or maybe you can slot it in to a current campaign of a long game that you're playing. It was inspired by that one episode of One Piece where all of the pirate kings come together for the first time, like in the first 100 episodes. Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool. I like that we went away from Luffy eating big meat to see what Mihawk is doing. Like I really love that, and that's where this game came from.
A lot of meat on One Piece, a lot of screaming, just meat.
It feels very early modern. I'm picturing Thomas Hobbes eating a lot of meat, like with the king, being like, how do we govern the people? So I think flash forward.
Yeah, but Thomas Hobbes ate a gum.
No, I think
he suddenly has gum powers.
You flash forward to RFK Jr. and Erdogan are eating big meat, and they are playing this game. That is how they're going to, the secret cabal that rules the neoliberal world is
RFK Jr. eating bear cub meat off the bone.
Too real.
Yeah, it turns out.
Oh, he ate the devil fruit that put a tapeworm in his brain. That's a really bad one. I wish they had edited that out. I don't know why they brought it from the manga
wormworm
to the
fruit
anime.
just
It
is
felt
very
weird.
unsettling. It's incredibly unsettling.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, so Eric, for those who are uninitiated, for those who have never, participated in Model UN or anything like that, what can we expect out of the game as we jump in here in a minute?
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to read
Ooh.
the intro here because I am as someone who spends a lot of time like teaching other people on my actual play show, Join the Party, how to play tabletop RPGs, not just Dungeons and Dragons, but so many other games that we've explored on that thing, both by players and the audience. I and as a former English teacher myself, I really wanted to get this summary well done. You are an important government representative for your country, sent to the secret annual meeting of the Diamond Knot. At a secure location, representatives decide the supposed united path for all the supposed power players, creating the path for the entire world to follow. The Diamond Knot only ratifies 3 motions out of the 10 suggested on the docket. Ratifying a motion requires a majority vote, and wrangling those votes is the name of the game. And based on how everything goes, 1 or more players will win out. So what we're going to do is we create our character that represents a government. So and both on the character sheet that we've already done together, but we can walk through a little bit. We're going to figure out who we're playing and what country they represent. Then they're going to be then we're going to fill out motions on a docket, which is the most Model UN thing that I love to do. And we're all going to open it at the same time. We're going to have to fill it in. And then using that, we're going to discuss it at the actual meeting of the Diamond Knot, kind of the secret government meeting, the secret world government meeting.
Great.
That we've composed.
Super clear. And I think we're ready to go. We have characters. Chris, do you have your character?
I do. Yeah. Pre-made.
Looks like
wonderful. Well, let's quickly talk about the setting, because like the first thing you're supposed to do that we did over email is like all you have to do is say a genre. If you don't have like a world you're already inhabiting, right? Like One Piece or your long-running Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You just make up a setting really quickly. You make a genre and then like a 1 sentence that you would see on the cable guide if you were watching this TV movie on TNT.
I wonder, I feel like a lot of our audience will probably remember cable guides and things like that, but it just strikes me as a rapidly becoming archaic technology.
Right.
Wait, you hit the guide button.
I was thinking of on
your weird remote.
I was thinking of the same, but AI can do all of that. We discarded. We proposed some ideas. We discarded some ideas. The book mentions a few, and one can imagine playing this more realistically, more vanilla fantasy. You mention a lot of sort of Watership Down animal stuff, which we actually really like. Rats of Nim, blister critters, and steampunk gnomish eco druids, which is really rad that's in there as just like a default idea. However, what is the idea that we actually went with? Drum roll. Eric, do you want to?
Oh yeah, well the reason why it's in there is that like you can make the world is supposed to be as loose as possible, because the different countries we're going to come up with we're supposed to do independently, and you wouldn't blink to see eco trolls next to like high traditional high fantasy elves. They just kind of live in the same world, so it's really kind of fine whatever you end up doing. So what we decided on is robots dealing with a post-human Earth.
And I think you named them specifically Maclotechs. So we're the Maclotech kind. There are no humans, and I don't know if we want to say the big event that has brought together this meeting of the Diamond Knot, which I thought was a great idea. Sort of the political crisis we're all addressing, along with whatever else that our countries want, which we'll find out.
Oh, see, I didn't know who we were going to necessarily all be. I suggested, because wife, you suggested, we should just be all robots roaming a post-human Earth. And I'm like, the inciting incident here is that the Maclotechs, the roving band of Apple products that become sentient, which have no governance of their own, so they're not at this meeting. That's like what I had in my head.
Gotcha.
They found a human living in a cave, and the human can type on the Maclotex keyboards, and it's disturbing.
Well, I was thinking the humans are all dead, other than this one human who is the inciting
for sure.
political crisis event, the event with a capital E in a Badiouian sense for y'all following along at home. But I just went, at least in my head, so we'll find out what everyone is, but with actually being a bunch of robots. Evolved consumer electronic goods from the past, but now we've just, we build ourselves.
Yes.
So we'll find out what we all
are. I definitely think we are. I'm glad we're still discussing it anyway, even though we did it over email, which is exactly what you should be doing at the table. I think we're on the same page that we all are evolved. We all are evolved robots from past consumer electronics as well. I just thought that there was a roving band of Mac products that found the initial singular human who still exists, but they were or were not at the Diamond Knot meeting if one of us decided to play or not play the Maclotex.
Gotcha.
Got it. All right, well, with that, Eric, what do we do first? So we have our characters, we have our setting, and we have a docket which we have not opened, but we made it ahead of time. What should we do to play?
No, this is great. So we all went off on our own and made our characters. There's some stuff in our character sheets that will help make our stuff really quickly. So you have your character and your country, and on our own, we come up with the government system and the country ideals to kind of push us in a direction. And then how we would describe ourselves as characters and how other people will describe ourselves as characters. You can decide to share that or not. But the important part for both the scoring and some of the moves is that every character has something called a personality move, which is a little move that you can activate to make play when we play out the actual meeting go a little bit funnier. Personal goals will give you an extra point because there is a point system in this. There is a winner at the end. And country goals is another thing that gives you a point if you follow through on the thing your country or the ruler of your country wants you to do while you are at this meeting, alongside getting points just for getting motions. And then there's a kind of a superlative system at the end, much like Mario Party, that can give you more points at the end. So there is a winner, like a real Catan style victory points.
Gotcha. Very nice. Well, should we jump in and introduce ourselves and our countries?
If you want to, you can do it in any order. You can decide to introduce them. You don't have to, or we can just jump into the docket. But whatever you guys want to do.
What do you think, Wythe?
If there's no agreed upon order, then I guess we could just jump into the docket, not knowing who is showing up to the Diamond Knot.
Yes, you definitely have that option. The only thing on the docket in which I've already written is I have every single one of our names written down, so we know which of us is writing these motions. The only thing you have to do is that in order to claim a motion, once it's opened, you got to put your name first, so we know who grabbed it.
Gotcha.
As you do it. So we have Marf, I'm seeing Upo, and Pac-Man as our three characters.
Very normal Maclotech names.
Yeah, very normal. Marf16, Representative Upo, and I think we should be specific here. Madam Pac-Man.
Madam Pac-Man at your service.
Right. I mean, she earned it. It's not a House of Lords thing. It's I'll say
it's a
Marf
meritocracy.
Exactly. Marf is an acronym for Massive Area Relay Peripheral Holacracy Foundry Instance 6. So it is technically Marf I6, but
oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I just put Marf. That's my fault. That's a faux pas. I apologize.
Oh my God. This is
the representative from the great state of blank.
This is off to a terrible start.
Chris, this is off to an incredible start.
Diplomacy is already out the window. Not even representing.
We're very close to war. No, so let's. I guess if without saying any more, I think we have we even have our country names under our names in the sort of video version of this. But yeah, I guess if we were to jump in without introducing our characters further, other than their names, Marf, Upo, and Madame Pac-Man, we can claim motions. There's only 10 motions.
Correct.
There is a special ability that can extend that by 1. But basically there's 10 motions, and anyone can start writing, but you have to put your name and write something more or less coherent. Yes. And then before we do that, just for people following along, are we going to fill up all 10 motions and then vote, or do we vote as we go? Can you say a little about the action of play?
Absolutely. So once you open the docket, I will flip over. Wow, It's so easy to turn the pages of this game, of this buttery smooth printed version of Model R Nations I have here.
What is the technology you're using there? That's a BOAC?
Yeah, it's one of those old-fashioned books you've heard so much about.
It's wild, dog.
So basically, once you all create your characters, and maybe if you're not playing on recorded medium, you can decide whenever you want to open the docket. So you can do it like in 5 minutes. You can do it tomorrow. Like if you like jump on a Discord call and you sort out the beginning of the game, then you can open the docket when you all meet up the next day. You can do it whenever. This has real like fantasy football draft energy to me, that sometimes you do it when like someone's on a plane.
Right.
which I think could be really fun. But the whole point is, once it's open, you need to fill up, the docket needs to be filled. And it's like the pre-idea, and from all my time playing doing Model UN in high school, I loved how much prep there was. You had to pre-enter before you got to like the argument phase. So you got to put in all of the things that you want to talk about into the docket, and then that will dictate how the meeting will go in the main sort of participation scene playing sort of portion of the game. So a motion is a proposed idea or action that all the members of the Diamond Knot will agree to execute together. It can be broad or specific, all-encompassing or esoteric, cautious or reactionary. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all, but it's definitely written down on the docket.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, and of course, it can be all arranged. It can be moved. We can negotiate while we're doing this if we want to change it or not. I'll be like, "Hey, Upo, can I give me $200 gold, and I'll take my thing off," and then you can just do it, and that applies to the whole thing. So yeah, we want to make sure we can. Yeah, we love corruption. We love to corrupt. So it's max 10. Every single person has the right to have at least one. So each character must put one in, but there's no rule saying you have to do all 10. It's just like each person, each character must put at least one on the docket.
Okay. Shall we open the docket officially and just dive in?
Give me a countdown, wife.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Model our nations.
3 minutes later.
Good. That's how we know we're good governments. Let's put lunch number 4 out of 10.
Number 4 out of 10. Yeah. All right. We have a full docket in only a matter of minutes. I didn't check when we started. We could go back and look at the tape, but I'm going to guess it was like less than 6 minutes. I think it was closer to like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So what happens next now that we have a full docket?
All right. Well, let's go to the meeting. The meeting begins. Each character should arrive at the meeting of the Diamond Knot in their own time, place, and order. With a short scene, each player should introduce their character, their country, and their adjectives, but keep your goals and moves a secret if you'd like, because you're trying to get points, so letting people know what your goals are is good, and it's always fun to surprise each other if you only playing this for the first time and they don't know what moves you're going to do.
Nice.
You can also describe how they got there, how they made their entrance, what mood they're in, whatever else is relevant and fun. As each character shows up, the characters who are already there should talk to each other, stir up drama, and get settled or unsettled. So, out of our 3 characters, who do we think would show up first?
I actually feel like Representative Upo would probably show up first. They're a very timely bureaucrat.
Yeah, I think Massive Area Relay Peripheral Holacracy Foundry Instance 6 is wants to be there first, but somehow there was like a military issue already, and so has had to like calm tensions down. Like there was a fight like 2 kilometers from the State House. So let's start with Upo.
Good. So Chris, because you're going first, you also get to describe where this meeting is happening.
Oh,
so where do you think we're holding this year's meeting of the Diamond Knot?
So I imagine that the meeting of the Diamond Knot is taking place on a near orbit platform that is connected to the Earth by kind of a space elevator. And it is truly international territory. Like you can think about it as like international waters almost, but this is a kind of collectively owned structure that we use for a variety of things. But one of them is to meet as the Diamond Knot.
Incredible. All right, so we have this free floating platform. I love the space elevator. That's so awesome. In my head, the stars look just like the stars in Galaga, where it's just kind of like different colored lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the first tech things we did as robots, right, Chris? When
Absolutely.
took over.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just to build a space elevator.
Really. I love it. All right, so the space elevator opens on, and I just love that there's not even any seats. It's just like a platform in space.
Can we float? Like we're in microgravity most of the time, unless we're holding on or something.
Yeah. I think, or we're just like standing on this like real Final Destination ass platform just to catch you a space elevator. So the space elevator opens, and Representative Upo steps out. Tell us about Upo.
Right. So Representative Upo is basically just a imagine the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but more of like a kind of dull metallic grayish hue, kind of a gunmetal gray. There are no features on the outside of Upo. Is basically he is just a box, and he is able to float using. I don't know, whatever, micrograv, anti-grav technology that I don't have the science to explain, but it doesn't matter.
Sure.
But yeah, Upo comes from the demarchy of Phaedron. And if you're not familiar with a demarchy, that is a government system where they also call it a lotterocracy, I believe. But it's a government system where you have these kind of like pools of representatives from different parts of the population. And then people are randomly selected from those as government heads and representatives. So Phaedron used to be one entity. It was basically one giant AI that had kind of like a hive mind thing going on. But as time went on, the citizens of Phaedron ended up developing their own autonomy. And they are committed to collaboration, flexibility, and the maintenance of personal autonomy.
I love it. It's going to be so fun arguing with a monolith. It's going to be just like our current government system. Am I right, ladies?
Am I right? Yeah.
Ayo.
So as Upo gets to tell me how Upo gets settled on the platform.
I mean, Upo just smoothly glides just a few inches off the platform, and kind of settles. Do we have like a table or anything, or are we just straight up?
Whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's say that there's kind of like a circular table in the middle of the room. So Upo slides up to that and does kind of a flip. So what was down is now up, and then he does a little twist, and then just kind of like settles onto the deck of the platform.
I love that. I think my character would come next because it's interesting because my character's not going to use the space elevator. I appreciate that it's there for my robot brethren, but I have the teamocracy of Arcadia has our own way of getting around because I can go into space using my Space Invader spaceship.
Same.
So chunky, no jagged lines, all squares. Just
it's that macro pixel technology that your people developed.
It's our pride. It's our pride and joy. As this space, this very rudimentary spaceship breaches the former Earth's probably really crappy atmosphere, and drops me off right on the platform as I enter from the other side. So you're, and out steps out a very large Ms. Pac-Man. You know, the Pac-Man with the mole and the lipstick and the bow, but real Angela Merkel style, just so buttoned up. Maybe I'm wearing a little sweat. Maybe I'm wearing a little like
cardigan.
Well, there's like it's a Pac-Man power suit that you go around there.
Yeah, I'm wearing a little pillbox hat instead of the bow, and I say, Representative Upo, I hope you weren't waiting long. You know how it is. Uh, Ke- uh, Vice President Qbert always keeping me hopping around.
Cuber. Oh man, deep cuts. I like it.
And
Yeah.
I am Madame Pac-Man from the country of Arcadia. I am a Timocracy, which is what we now understand as people who own land, who are the only people who get to vote. But really, we're collected around each individual arcade cabinet is able to vote towards the government. Basically, all of the arcades at once the humans left eventually developed technology to project their characters as long as they're within a certain distance from their arcade cabinets. And that technology, alongside our incredibly cool Space Invader ships, are our pride and joy.
Very nice. Can I ask real quick, Timar, is that from like the Turkish concept of Timar?
I think it's one of the Aristotle politics ones where it's time, meaning honor or worth. And
that's nice. It's really interesting. In research I've been doing for Dance Macabre lately, a Timar was like an actual thing that you could get. It was basically like a parcel of land that you would get for military service or for civil service under the early Ottoman Empire. Yeah, interesting.
That is interesting.
Very interesting.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just so you know more about Arcadia, our country's ideals are judging by the content of their character and not their number of bytes. Furthering the technology that puts projection, and of course, recovering more of our brethren in the arcade caverns as we unearth more of the buried malls throughout what used to be America.
Nice.
Vex has an excellent question for this diegesis, for understanding this world, Eric. Are you in an arcade cabinet, or are you like extracted from it and they print you a body, or both? Like, have you kept it as a kind of like sentimental object?
It needs to be around, I think, something within the distance of maybe you in traditional like liches, talking about like
phylacteries,
phylacteries, yes. So I think that like maybe on the spaceship when it opens up, you can see that the arcade cabinet is inside. But we have projection technology that allows me a certain distance, let's say 50 feet, for me to be away from my home, like where I keep my soul, I guess.
Right.
Pretty much.
Projectology. We love that.
Exactly. So, and using the technologies of robots to further our own like success and abilities. But of course, us Arcadians protect our own and our own cabinets.
Right.
There's only so many quarters that are still out there in the world. I describe myself as pretty serious and attentive. I got where we are from being a very great government official, but lots of people would call me as cold as the other side of the 8-bit Ice Queen.
Ouch. Well, I think at that point, finally, the representative from Scary Dania would get in because I think we were there first, but we were 2 kilometers away from the platform, battling the platform, because the principal country ideal for Scary Dania is Juche, is sovereignty and self-reliance. So we have our own. We arrive also in our own vessels that are squirrel-shaped helicopters that are VTOL, spacefaring, brightly colored, fairly like high tech. Like everything we make, and I think you'd see like a extended flashback because this is also our national anthem and we're saying it in a digital modem song, but it's like all the way back to like a late Michael Bay Transformers series movie where, as a joke, one of the animators, to test a new effect, made a kind of like nanotech squirrel robot and thought it was cute and kept it around as like a GIF. Basically, that is the ancestor program. That was the kernel for all of Scary Dania. So everything we make is kind of, as much as possible, we are just squirrels, but we are extremely high tech, and we are extremely belligerent, self-reliant nation that just is very afraid of being taken over by others. So finally, the space helicopter stops fighting with the defense systems of the platform, and it expels a docking pellet, which looks exactly like a squirrel taking a shit in space, and at high speed. I cross those last 2 kilometers. The squirrel pellet destroys, breaches the platform, and the platform seals behind it after a hiss of air escapes. Air none of us need to breathe anyway. Yeah. And then Sitting on the Lazy Susan is a squirrel-sized squirrel robot that is gunmetal in color, but whose sides have this brightly colored sort of Michael Bay Transformers style white, black, and yellow like racing stripe lateral panels and many red beady eyes that look like I'm sniper scoping. And I bring my own smaller, more technical Lazy Susan and put it on the Lazy Susan.
Chris, I'm so sorry that you're like, here's this really cool space elevator, and then immediately White and I are like, nah, dog, we're taking our own ships.
Such is the nature of these things. I would say maybe the Demarchy of Phaedron was kind of one of at a former Diamond Knot proposed building the space elevator and was like, this is going to be great. Everybody's going to use it. We're going to share this resource, and then no one fucking uses it. Everybody just prefers private transport
Bridge
instead.
to nowhere.
Yeah.
It's the big dig in space. We're all here.
When it was proposed, I said it was a bad idea, but you were all so excited to build a space elevator to the stars. So here it is.
It uses less resources.
We got some sick cobalt mines out of the deal, so fuck you guys. It was great. We love this stupid thing.
Great, the squirrel's here. All right. Okay, great.
Sciridanians! Long live Sciridania!
I do like to imagine that it's just like a modem sound whenever you sing the national anthem.
It's in every language broadcast at once, just in case. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a complete cacophony of languages. Or maybe it's like Star Trek. We have a universal translator or something like that.
Probably, yeah. It's all in JSON or JavaScript or something. Yeah, but it's somehow like Esperanto. It's got tones associated with it as well.
The whole thing that I find so funny about this, because I played various versions of this game, one where it's like a very traditional, like these are the 4 countries and all 4 of the players are playing the countries. One where it's like a consortium of like baddies who are meeting up together, or also some other ones. But this one's really funny where it's like, for some reason, these 3 countries decided to be a world government.
Like completely disparate.
And especially when I made up the Maclo text, I'm like, oh yeah, these are a roving band of Mac keyboards. Like they don't talk to the other ones.
Well, they're in a museum. So those are the ancestors, right? There's definitely like an anthropology museum with a bunch of keyboards showing their culture.
Yeah. And for some reason, the arcade cabinets, the squirrel programs, and the monoliths are like, no, we're gonna be part of a secret government. I love that. I love this game so much. Every time I play, I'm like, this is a good game. This is fun. Okay, well, we are missing one character before we can start the actual docket. Mm-hmm. Once all the characters are there, the moderator will walk in, and each player will describe one thing that is incredibly boring about them. The moderator's job is to keep decorum, arbitrate rules and regulations, and if needed, break ties. We have 3 players, so we won't need that, but the moderator is still there. All players control the moderator together, and so anyone who can hop into their shoes if they're not currently speaking.
Nice.
So the space elevator opens up and the moderator walks out. What is one reason why they're the most boring person alive or robot alive?
Man, I feel like I've set the bar really high for boring robots.
Your robot's not boring. I would say not at all. Not at all. Let me propose
faceless monolith.
Let me propose something. I think the moderator is boring because it is a coin star machine.
That's pretty good. I think it's also been blunted. It had like the robot equivalent of like, this neural surgery where it can only sort of speak in it can't ever say anything actually funny intentionally, like it's like only saying old, like for the equivalent for us would be like, you can only say like, I don't know, old Jim Gaffigan routines or something where like everyone's kind of heard it. It's not that, it's like not that deep to be like Hot Pocket, like whatever. It's like there, it's just sort of has no personality, but it tries really hard to have one. And that just makes it even worse. Energy.
No, I like that. I like your building on what I said. Is like, it is a coin star machine, and at some point one of the more advanced robot societies gave it a voice box, and like that's the best he can do with its computing power for sure. Chris, why is this Coinstar machine with a voice box the most boring thing alive?
He also just doesn't enjoy lunch. Or it also does not enjoy lunch. You know, it's like you said earlier, there are not a lot of quarters around anymore. You know, no one's minting that human currency, that bullshit. And that's all that this guy likes to eat. So everything that he is given for lunch, it turns its nose up at.
I like that.
No taste.
No, thank you. I brought my own food from home, and it's just a bunch.
Yeah,
of
okay.
knives.
That's actually what it is. Is that everything is meal prepped? Always.
It takes out a plastic container and it's filled with like dimes and 1 penny.
I brought a salad, guys, but it's just coins. Yeah, coin salad.
That's what it. Yeah, no taste. Only eats coins. Everything is meal prepped. No adventure with food. No going outside the lines.
I had a loony and a toonie for breakfast. This will hold me over for a long time.
You would be surprised what 1 pence can do.
Oh my God! Again with the coins.
Mr. Coinstar, please take your seat at the table so we can begin. I know we have a lot to discuss. I don't want to keep you from nut gathering. Pregnant pause. Or whatever it is
it's a pun. It's a fucking pun.
Or whatever it is you two do during the time. But we have an emergency to discuss, and I'd really like to make sure that I make my 1 o'clock with the centipedes. Incredible. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to step on anything because I just said pregnant pause as Angela Merkel. But do you guys want to say anything, or you want me to get into playing the game?
I think Upo would say tradition and protocol dictates that we now begin the docket.
Okay, so the moderator is going to call the Diamond Knot to order and walk through the motions in the order on the docket, which is why it's numbered on the docket, on the motion document that we have here. Going by docket order, the first/next character will introduce their motion. They can talk as much as they want, as long as it's short. Characters will discuss, question, clarify, interrogate, compliment, intimidate, or more about the topic. When the conversation lulls, the moderator will call for a vote or yes or no. If it gets a majority vote, it's ratified and we move on to the next motion. If it fails or there's a tie, it is kept on the docket to attempt another vote later. Repeat until there are no more motions left to be introduced, and then you can go back to any that you didn't want to vote on, or once you ratify 3 motions, you're done. The game is over. That's how it works. At any moment, anyone can use their personal moves. That whatever it says on the move that you've chosen, you can just do it. It's just a fun little thing you have in your back pocket to change the flow of how argumentation works. And of course, like every other tabletop RPG, I kind of have a page that's like, remember improv? Kind of do that. So, the only other thing is that I use something called the Magic Tavern rule, which is that once you improv something, it is now locked into canon. You, of course, can argue about whose fault it was or not, and you can, of course, do it back to other players. But if someone invents an event or invents a country or invents a character, it is now locked into canon, and we got to move forward as if they've always existed.
Very nice.
So, the moderator begins. Ha 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 ha. It is time to begin our first motion. Madame Pac-Man, you have the first 3, so you can bundle it together. Like at Redbox, where you can get 3 DVDs all together for a low, low price of $2.
We're booing so loudly in Squirrel Modem.
I also like that the Coinstar's only frame of reference is other shit that you would find at grocery stores, like
National
Redbox.
Enquirer. Yeah,
there's an automated recycling center thing.
In my head, it was outside of an AMP. Like the AMP in my hometown of Goldensbridge, New York, 90 minutes outside of New York City. Like that's the coin star we're talking about.
Very nice.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Star. I would like first to begin with a motion I don't think is going to pass. We don't have to vote on it or not, but I would like to begin with what we all define this human to be. I would like to have a working definition of what we have observed this human, what we think a human is. I don't know how much recon your respective countries have and organizations have done with the roving band of Maclotechs holding on to the human. But what do we know about what a human is?
I think you see. We deny vigorously all reports that the Skyridanians have surrounded the human cave. There's no Skyridanians near the human cave, and we would see down below in the earth in the wilds. There are just there's an army. There's a whole army circling the human cave, but it's turned outward, right? It's not anti-human. It's to protect the human.
Got it.
And I think all that Marf I6 says is that the human is clearly related to our ancestors and is intelligent.
Okay, good. This is a good start. Upo, what have the Phaedrons learned about the human that has been captured?
We have learned that it is a carbon-based life form which requires food, sleep, shelter, and among other things in order to survive. It does not have the durability of we Phaedrons with our beautiful faceless, our beautiful smooth surfaces, which are unmarred by things like noses, ridges, and flab, which this human seems to possess.
Of course. That seems to correspond with our intelligence gathering. And I think that you see like a 16-bit paper boy down on the earth, just like speeding at 100 miles per hour through the dust, like Mad Max. We have not gotten close enough to get more confirmation, as the roving Maclotech tribes, with their sleek and only compatible with themselves, they're airdropping intelligence to each other constantly. We weren't able to get close, but that corresponds with what we know. It seems that we do have a similar ancestor as well. These its hand markings seem to resemble some on the Arcadians' soul cabinets. They're oily and gross.
Yeah, you got to throw that into the definition, oily.
Possibly the oils on their hands are corrosive enough to destroy any materials. As that's what I fear most of all.
Yeah, I think Representative Upo would then ask, is it possible that these humans are somehow made of a bio and neurological technology which we no longer possess?
That's what I fear. I feel like it's something that none of our great nation states looking around at a video game character from 1984, an obelisk and a squirrel. I think it's something that none of our nation states can process. Something so ancient, we have to be on our toes, or wheels, or whatever
we have a proposal. If we could just jump to number 6 on the docket, we have a proposal regarding the human.
Should we not follow procedure and finish our proposal for our definition of human first?
All right, all in favor of adopting said definition: intelligent, ancestral, flabby, oily, hand-having, possibly corrosive, destructive entity. Oh, wait. We would like, the Skyridanians would like to add one bit to this. Another phrase: to be protected from Maclotech.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Wait. No, I am not voting on the addition from the squirrel peoples. from the nation, from the horde of squirrel. I am not protecting this. That's why we have separate motions. We've talked about this.
Okay. Well, are we not voting then? Are we just moving on? This isn't proposed.
The
We can
Demarchy.
vote on that. We can vote on this. We can vote on this. Agreed as it started from the great nation of Arcadia. Proposed from there. We can vote on agreeing on this definition.
The Demarchy of Phaedron takes issue with the implication that Maclotech kind is inherently dangerous. Though they are nomadic and do not fit into our social structures, it does not mean that we should further alienate them. They are, in fact, our brothers.
Yes, we're all brothers. We just should protect the human. They have a right to live, even if they're flabby and oily and absolutely disgusting.
On this, I can agree.
Okay, that's all we're saying.
Representative Upo, I've loved your calm tone as we've been doing this for 500 years, and I've always relied on that being a balm on our annual meetings.
It's always bored us, and it has nothing to do with kinetic Heracletian democracy. It doesn't matter.
I should say that I didn't say the things that Upo would describe himself as, which is thoughtful and measured. But others would describe Upo as glacial and boring.
We are the same. We're the same. I love this. The Coinstar representative coughs and a Canadian penny falls out. I would like to vote on the proposed definition of the Who Man. All in favor of this being the definition, say aye. Aye.
As long as this doesn't count as one of our three, right? It's just a definition?
No, this counts. Oh. No counts.
Oh, wait, but did you both just voted for it? Fuck. Okay, well, fine. So we're wasting one of our three.
I said before that we wouldn't vote on whether or not we should agree on a definition, but if we're agreeing on the definition, then we're voting for it. That's ratified.
Abstain.
It's just procedure. I don't know if you were too busy eating nuts for you to review procedure.
We have like four actually good ideas. We don't need procedural votes if we only get 3 votes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so that is one of the motions ratified.
God
Another one. Now to the second one for me. It's my turn again. Exploration of more areas where there could be more humans. We would like permission for the Arcadians to explore through Phaedron and I forget the name of the squirrel land.
Skyridania.
Of Skyridanian land. For us to search caves and possibly gullies for us to look for more humans.
Absolutely not. Veto. Next thing.
Are you suggesting that you would come onto our sovereign territories?
Yes, and that's why I'm asking nicely and not doing it. You did not have to turn it into a whole aggressive thing. I'm not going to gobble, 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 waka, 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 big gulp, and then eat ghosts into your land without asking permission. And Arcadians with our scouts are very good at searching for and waka, waka, walking it without disturbing your lands.
The Demarchy of Phaedron appreciates autonomy above all things. It would be difficult to convince the other representatives from our Demarchy to allow you onto our lands. As such, I do not think that this measure will pass at the moment, but maybe it can be revisited at a later date.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Skip ahead to 6. We got a better version of same. Better version of same. Coming in hot.
I feel like in the squirrel copter, there's just a bunch of guys going, "Hey, look what Beth is doing. Yeah, they're really doing it. They're giving it to that madam lady."
I didn't say this earlier, but I imagine that the squirrel copter is also like Tails from Sonic. And it's just like the rotor blade is just a giant squirrel tail.
Yeah, all of the weapons, all of the ingress, egress, and weapons come out of the butt area. So that's definitely design strength of the the spacefaring VTOL spacecopter.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a flaw.
Exactly. Yeah.
I appreciate the sovereignty of both of your nations, which is why I brought it up here at the Diamond Knot and did not conduct. But it would be something that I would like to discuss further if we end up needing pieces to negotiate, moving it around, hitting the A button and then the B button and then the A button and the B button again.
We are all familiar with how the Arcadians have used up, down, left, right, A, B, and start in the past.
It's our sacred code of friendship.
Friendship? You call that's a direct threat. We don't even like when people mention up, down, A, B, A, B, start, select, left, right. We don't even. It shouldn't be uttered. Let's move on. Proposition to table number 2 as part of number 6.
Okay, fine. Let's move to I have another one, but I need let's move. Let's go to 6 and then come back. Fine. Let's go to 6.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Well, let's see. Let me see. Can you read this out, moderator Coinstar? Can you read this out? Okay. For the 5 o'clock showing of I just did movie phone instead.
Movie phone's good. Movie phone's good.
For number 6, press 1 now. Marf I6 said, "Free the human."
Okay, we can add an exhibit. So we would like to enter into consideration exhibit A. We must plan and then seed an ecologically balanced park full of human-pleasing flora and fauna for it to inhabit, not to mention drugs. So many human drugs. Some among us think we should also 3D print the human to mate. This, of course, absolutely necessitates that all of Maclotech kind work together to build an immense, advanced bioengineering laboratory within the territorial borders of Skyridania to be operated by Skyridanian scientists. What? Hey, Skyridania! So, all in favor, say aye.
No. The answer is no.
I would like to use a power, the one power I possess.
Please.
In the book, it said the power's name is guileless. Okay. Because of Juche, we essentially cannot lie. So I'm going to ask Chris a question of the people of Phaedron.
Okay.
And you can ask me something in return. And you can't lie when you answer, and I can't lie when I answer.
All right.
That's what it says in the book. If, Eric, I'm interpreting that rule correctly.
No, that's absolutely true. That is one of the... Let me see where it is. That's one of the personality moves where you just get to do that. Absolutely.
Great. So what would make the Phaedrons allow basically the Diamond Knot to give Skyridania the rights to set up like an eco park and a bunch of resources for biotech research to help humans? Maybe there's more than one, maybe there's only one, we don't know, but we're all in on protecting the human. Mm-hmm. What would actually be something that the Phaedrons would want from us in exchange?
I think that the Phaedrons would want this to be a joint, at the very least, a joint operation between the 3 nations, instead of something that's operated solely by Skyridanian scientists. I don't think that the territory thing is much of an issue, but it is more of an access question.
Okay, so it's like a backroom deal flashback. We're talking about this. Do you have a question for me, since that says that's how that works when I use the power?
Yes. Chris, you can decide to do it right now, or you can hold on to it.
All right, I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit.
Okay. We're amenable to an
80-10-10 split or something like that. Yes, everyone is welcome in the immense research laboratory within the territorial borders of Skyridania to be operated by the principals of which, the directors of which could be Skyridanian scientists, mentoring scientists from less developed Maclotech nation states.
An 80-10-10 split is not a fair shake. I don't know why a robot would say that. When we had discussed this previously, the Demarchy of Phaedron believed that we were speaking about an equal share of 33.3333333333% X whatever to the X factor.
10 years later.
Yeah. The human is dead by the time they finish this sentence.
No. You said 30, just 30, 30, 30, 40. We're the 40. That's the final offer. That's all I can do. There's a lot of people back home for whom Juche outweighs interest in the human. However, there's a large faction that's very interested in the human as part of the sapient sovereignty movement. So we're willing to give up some of the Juche for more of the sapient sovereignty, working together across Maclotech kind.
Yes, the Skiridanian dedication to sovereignty bears very close resemblance to the Phaedron's love of personal autonomy. In this way, we can see how we have similar goals in this regard.
Same thing.
We vote aye on this proposal.
We vote aye as well. Free the human. All hail Skiridania.
I'll also say the kind of like park, the eco park that was basically one of my proposals as well, was to build a habitat for the humans. So I think that would also drive Upo to agree to this.
Okay, well, I think it would be better if all of us voted unanimously on all of our decisions between this, and I could see that there is some wiggle room in the possibility if you allow Arcadian workers to come in and help build this somewhere on Skiridanian soil. Wow, you're writing while I'm talking, wow, what a great proposal. Okay. Well, that's fine. At least you're paying attention. At least you're paying attention to the things I'm saying. No, it's fine. That's fine. I guess what I'm looking for is the permissions for what I discussed in number 2 for Arcadian workers to have areas to explore, to look for more humans as we build what is it? Let me look at the ecologically balanced park full of human pleasing flora and fauna to inhabit. How about it?
Okay. I think we see what you're putting down. So we want to amend. So per number 2, what you're saying is under supervision of Skiridanian scientists, Arcadian and Phaedronian.
And we'll contribute our best workers. We have Donkey Kong Jr.
They are known to be able to throw barrels at an alarming rate.
The whole family strong. There's Crunchy and Cranky and Funky as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the cool Funky Kong? That's the one that raps.
Diddy Kong did the rap. Diddy Kong
crew.
All right.
We don't talk about Diddy anymore.
We don't talk about Diddy. He got canceled. Tiny Kong. Yeah, Tiny Kong.
All right. The squirrel-like Skiridanians will accept us if basically they are able to just supervise when foreigners are in Skiridania.
Absolutely. We're looking for more humans, which is what all of us are looking for. I can't see our workers I can't see our workers and scouts doing anything you wouldn't want us to do.
This is acceptable.
Wait. Sorry, Eric. I know we're going to run out of time here, but
no, it's fine.
Honest question. Are your workers going to do something that Skiridanians would not want you to do while on our territory?
I don't think so. I think I got some other stuff that that's a real question. The answer to that is that the workers will definitely help build the eco dome, and they will help look for humans. But we're looking for something else as we're doing it. So if we find it happens.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's good information. And now you both have a hold on Representative Marf I6. So if you want to, you can ask me a question.
Are you guys like secretly evil? You got to tell me. Or is it entrapment?
Are you a cop?
Are you asking me that now, or is that a joke?
No, I'm asking you that as my hold.
No, we are definitely not evil. We are like programmed by sort of some sort of libertarian animator who was working on a Hollywood picture long ago, but have basically developed, if it's not very obvious, just Squirrel North Korea.
Yeah, I
So,
was gonna say
we're not
it's
bad
Squirrel
guys.
North Korea for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, Squirrel Korea. Yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
Squirrel North Korea. That old trope. We've all seen that.
We
in genre
genuinely want to
media.
protect the human and believe the human must be intelligent, and therefore we shouldn't let it die horribly.
I think I'm staring at you from across the table, and like my mascara pixelated eyes narrow, and you're just like looking around everywhere while you're doing it, and I'm like, all right, well, that was, if we all agree on these, this was a fast one. We can go to lunch early.
Great. Okay, we're voting. We all vote aye, right? Number 6, free to
Aye.
Human Eco Park.
Aye.
And with the addendum for 2.
Yes, with all the addenda. Sorry, with all addenda.
Wonderful.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
It's 2 of 3.
I'm buying quarters for everybody.
Hooray!
Yay! So we got one more, right? Do we want to
No,
go back?
that's 3. That's 3.
How was that 3?
Because I asked for 2 because I asked for 2.
That's an addendum to 6. See?
Oh,
Has aspects of 2. Wow. Under supervision of Scaritanian scientists, Arcade and Fedronian scientists may explore approved tracks searching for cryptid humans. Even better.
When we don't follow the order, it gets all confusing. Fine. Oh, we've only done 2. All right. I'm not paying. Everyone has their own quarters. I'm going to eat my own quarters that I brought with me as well. It's in the ship.
This is also just, in terms of time, maybe we skip to giving Chris one, or we just could call it also.
No, we can call it there. I think that's fun.
Yeah, I think
I
that's fine.
I like the idea that it's like you thought you were done, but you're not because because we bucked order because of North Korean squirrels.
Yes. As always happens.
Oh man, love it.
So
hey, everyone in the chat, let us know how good your quarters are tasting.
Let us know the nickel content of those coins.
Enjoying the show? Please consider supporting Why We Roll in all of our games over at patreon.com/Stillfleet. Dear patrons, we really love y'all. We just couldn't keep making Why We Roll without your support. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Now back to the show.
So I guess, Eric, normally this might take longer. I'm not sure procedure was followed and we did actually vote on 3 things, but let's say we end the game here for the voting part. Then there's the sort of longest road bit where we do superlatives and people score points and someone wins. Is that correct?
Yes. So let's imagine, we can imagine that maybe Chris got, let's highlight one of Chris's ones. Maybe we skip through. We already decided we want lunch. We're not going to give me another one.
Right.
And maybe the one that Upo wanted about sharing solar satellite array resources. Yeah. We just do that one, right?
Great. Let's do that one. That sounds great.
Okay. So then we'll have there will be some scenes of each of us going back to our respective countries to tell them how things went. Usually you do it in reverse order of the order of the people who showed up. But let me read it out. Wrapping up. Once the meeting is over, each player should narrate a short scene as they leave the Diamond Knot, return home, and have to convince the ruler that they achieved their country's goal. Other players should embody the leader and decide in the spirit of the country if they did achieve it or not.
Okay. So the reverse order is
it would be you, wife, and then Eric, and then me.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so right. So right. We I guess cut back to the main Skiridanian server farm dome, which looks almost exactly like a Transformers like Cybertron, city, and maybe has pulsing lights and cool 80s music. And Massive Area Relay Peripheral Holacracy Foundry Instance 6 is speaking to Massive Area Relays 1 through whatever, a large number. And they are all just partying out. They're doing the equivalent of a Wolf of Wall Street snorting crushed up Quaaludes off the floor level energy excitement because they collectively, since they're holacracy, they determine who's boss at any moment based on the project. So they're all boss. Incredible. They all are Kim Jong-un or whatever at any point, right? And their main goal here was to get you all to pay for an immense advanced bioengineering laboratory within their territorial borders. I wrote 3 goals, and all of them just end with that, no matter what. So since
Great.
you adopted that, that's 100% a win. Number 6 is they're all equally the boss, but number 6 is also the president and the boss.
Yeah, we definitely took care of them. Yeah.
Those idiots.
Your wife, yours was a little more straightforward, so you didn't have to convince anyone about everything. But I like it. I think it's good.
Hey, first time playing.
Beginner's luck.
That was good. All right. Madame Pac-Man bows deeply to Representative Upo and gets back, which looks really weird because you shouldn't be looking at video game characters from that direction. And I get back onto the ship. I shoot a bunch of asteroids that all explode in different directions. And I return back to Arcadia, which is a Babylon hanging gardens built out of a arcade in a mall.
Nice.
Just like kind of all spooling out from there. But of course, we have 4 rulers who kind of rule together as a quadocracy. And it's all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Specifically, I like the idea that different iterations of the same characters from different arcade machines can exist at the same time.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of all the different NBA players from NBA Jam are all around, and it's confusing because none of them are Michael Jordan. So it's really
yeah. Scottie Pippen is married to Scorpion from Mortal Kombat 2. It's like really cute. It's like very like
beautiful.
Wonderland of 2D.
Oh,
and 3D
get over
games.
here! Come here!
Get over here, you.
That's pretty good.
Turtle Bros, I come back from the Diamond Knot meeting. Hey, come on, Turtle Bros.
Are we the Turtle Bros?
I guess
I need people to play my leaders.
Radical. Surf's up, dude. Did you get him to agree to give us pizza?
When I, Leonardo, made the sky, I said one day a representative would go forth and bring us back news of our ancestors. What is that news?
Although it might have cost us dearly, I think we did further our ultimate goals. We have to construct some sort of, I don't know, drug-filled zoo for the Who-Man, but which is ultimately fine because we have more land that it was given to us for us to search for more of our arcade brethren buried deep below the ground. We have to do it under scientific supervision, but they're squirrels, so waka waka waka.
Insert coin.
Cowabunga.
So yes, that's what I was looking for. I wanted more. We have exhausted our land of Arcadia, looking for more arcade machines and more cabinets. So we need more land to be legally allowed to do that. So that's what I was looking for. So I'm okay.
Perfect.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
Very
Eric,
nice.
that sounds a lot like it's like the Mormon church with like there might be another Bible just buried in the desert somewhere that's like a real ass Bible and alien angel dropped off. Also, yes, Taylor points out a really good point. Those ET games. Do y'all know that story? The worst game ever made.
Yeah,
the
Atari game.
Yeah, it's buried in the desert. There's like 100,000 copies or something. Yeah,
That's like the Book of Job to us. Like you don't acknowledge that.
That's your Dead Sea Scrolls.
This is what happens when you make God upset. You get buried in the desert by humans and their oily fingers.
Fantastic.
Eric, I'm gonna have nightmares of the 4 Ninja Turtles as Sumerian gods, just like huge, like. All right, I guess let's find out what happened.
It's not Ereshkigal, it's Michelangelo.
It's Michael, yeah.
But they're all one voting body because they're all from one machine,
right?
You know?
Right,
so
right.
it's like they all exist as one mind together, which I think is important. For a second, I thought I was going to do the Simpsons from the Simpsons game, but I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
That would be woof.
I think that's like the Loki or like maybe like a psychopomp figure, like Homer chasing Bart, just like kind of crosses the screen of occasionally as you're talking.
Yeah.
What's happening to Phaedron? Let's close it out.
Yeah. So Representative Upo engages their anti-grav butt and slowly lifts off the floor. And then, people still watching, maybe the Coinstar machine is still there. You see them just kind of go up to the edge of the space elevator platform and then just kind of like tip over and then just drop straight to the earth. breaking through the atmosphere, all that good stuff. But then they are able to land at the capital of the Demarchy of Phaedron, which is Phaedronia, which, if you look around, it looks like almost like a human cityscape, but there's no roads, there's nothing like that. It's just a series of nearly identical skyscraper-sized buildings that are all 1x4x9. The perfect, the perfect ratio.
Oh my god!
And you see Upo glides up to the largest one of these buildings, which is the kind of government center, and phases into the wall of the structure and then is inside. And there is a council that is all of the current representatives of the Demarchy of Phaedron. They change out every 30 days, but this is the current council that Upo is answering to. And he says, "Unfortunately, I was unable to secure the humans' personal autonomy as directed. However, I believe that we are moving in the right direction. There will be an eco-park, which we will take part in construction and research in order to keep the humans safe. Some might see this as a prison, but with how little we know about them, it is a first step to granting them true autonomy."
I would ask you, Chris, on your character sheet, what are your values?
The country ideals.
Country values. Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
or the
country
goal.
ideals for me to determine if you did a good job.
Right. Collaboration, flexibility, and personal autonomy are the ideals of the Demarchy of Phaedron. And the specific goal was to secure the humans' personal autonomy, to make sure that they would not be, like enslaved or kept in a museum or anything like that. So I wouldn't say that we achieved that perfectly. But we did, at least move in the right direction. And I would also like to point out that Representative Upo is a lifelong bureaucrat, meaning that if I only have 1 point at the end of the game, I win. Only one of my motions went through, which was to share the resources of our solar array with other nations. So I don't know.
I like that. It's interesting. If you are, because we're playing this for the first time, I'll give this to you, but it's like, you can reveal that whenever you can reveal that, like, whenever you want. And if you were like, you know what, I didn't really think I did it. Like, because you get 1 point for every motion you pass.
Right.
And then you get points for your country goal working, and you get points for winning any of these superlatives. So if you wanted to, if the tutorial box pops up as I tell you, you're like, I don't know if I really got it. So like, I'm not gonna say that you achieved it, being like, our instructions were clear. I know we are flexible, but not that flexible.
And I was going to give you the superlative of sleekest guy.
Sleekest representative.
Best packaging.
Best ratio.
But that would cause you to lose, so I don't know the powers in our hands.
Well, let's talk about it. So I think that, let's say you didn't get your country goal. Chris didn't get your country goal. So I got mine, wife got theirs, wife got his, and Chris didn't get theirs. So finally we pick superlatives. We will decide who is the smartest, who is the least capable, and yet still had this job, and who their character felt closest to. So who do we think was the smartest out of our three characters?
Oh, man.
I mean, I got y'all to pay for an enormous research lab for human CERN.
That's true.
I gotta say that was a pretty savvy move on Marf I6's
I'll give it to
part.
Marf.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll get it to Marf. So Marf, you're the smartest. Note that down somewhere.
No,
which it's funny. I kind of want to give this to you as well. Who is the least capable and yet still had this job? I might give it to Marf as to
I would
as well.
I would agree. Yeah, totally. Where it's just like, why are you're so literally squirrely, but you did it.
Let's see. And then finally, my character felt closest to Representative Upo. I felt very similar.
Yeah.
I also felt closest to Representative Upo.
That's because I made a very middle ground character.
Incredible. Okay, so
you seem to care about the humans the most.
Incredible. Okay, so now let's tally the points. Players get a point if a motion they suggested is ratified. So each of us get 1 point.
Nice.
If they achieve a personal or country goal, let me know. So the country goal was for me. Oh, the country goal we all discussed. Wife got 1. I got 1. My personal goal was called taxonomy. I had to create a group of something, and I had to name them as much as possible. Mine was arcade games.
Nice.
Oh, nice! You did name.
It's
a
just
lot.
like a little. It's just like a little trick that you need to play with yourself.
Yeah,
it's kind of the personal goals.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I like that.
Yeah. So I assume yours was bureaucrat. Yours was lifelong bureaucrat.
Mine is lifelong bureaucrat. Correct.
And mine was mad scientist.
Oh, yours is definitely
mad scientist for sure.
So I think the only question, because country goals in the book, it's a little more vague than the personal goals, which are like listed. So
right, the personal goals you're supposed to like read from the book, and it's like, okay, this is the parlor game I'm going to play with myself while I'm doing this playthrough. The country goals is like, once you figure out what your country's ideals are, you need to express that in the docket through play. And
so
that's
I
why
would leave that to y'all, because I put in order that number 1 is Juche, number 2 is all sapient sovereignty, like humans would be equally as important as robots, and then number 3 is industrial vigor, which is like we always need more resources so that more people can enjoy athletic Heracletian direct holacracy, our form of government.
Oh yeah, but no, we played that out during the scene. Like we agreed that you got
okay. Just checking like how that works, because again, that was my interpretation. Is like I made up goals that made sense given my imagination of this place. So okay,
absolutely correct. You absolutely nailed it. And then finally, boop, boop, boop. Sorry, the pages are so great and slippery in my book.
They just turn so
it's hard for me to find it. And then if they got a superlative. So Chris, you got 1 point from the superlatives, and Wife, you got 2 points from the superlatives. So unfortunately, Chris, you ended up with 2 points. So you don't win lifelong bureaucrat.
As a lifelong bureaucrat, Upo is deeply disappointed that this moved quickly.
I only got 2 points because Madame Pac-Man kind of beefed it because Scaradania wiped the floor with us. White got like 6 points.
I got like 4 points, I think. But I had you would describe yourself as life of the metal and flesh party, and most others would describe you as no chill tweaker boss. So I was just trying to play the role, you know.
No, you nailed it. Bang! Wife wins. Congratulations! You won Model Our Nations.
Thanks. I don't think I've won an RPG ever, so that's fun. That's a new feeling. After doing this for a while.
You know what's funny? I got so attracted to. I got really attracted to GM-less games. I, as a longtime dungeon master and game master of Join the Party, just the feeling of prep just kind of bothered me. And also, I love board games. I love those cooperative board games like Betrayal in the House of the Hill and Sentinels of the Multiverse, where it's like you against the game. The game makes you play the game, and you play against the game, and you already know how to play. And that's what a GM-less tabletop RPG reminds me of. But a winner at the end is something I've been trying to combat as like a new thing going on with tabletop RPGs. Everyone sees RPG horror stories, right? Where it's like, oh my God, my DM made us fight a big titty monster and we had to fulfill his fetishes before we won. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a big problem that usually happens. And I can see why you say that a lot. But
it is a harrowingly specific example. Not
it's
to
very
interrupt.
Specific and bad.
Not to interrupt, but are you okay?
Sometimes I read those, and that's not that far off to what some of the best RPG horror stories are. But a new thing that I've been seeing, especially when so much is turned into actual play, is like the winner, the person who wins Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop RPGs, is now the most unhinged. So the audience finds them to be the most blorbo and gets the most clips on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fun. Instead of people trying to win by being the most chaotic, they literally let's funnel their competitive energies into winning this tabletop RPG, which actually creates more, not control, but like order so that everyone has a good time.
Yeah, I think there's some integrated design happening here too, right? Like, the UN does exist as this, whatever governing body, but like everybody has their own agendas, and we're trying to move those agendas forward. And I think that mechanicalizing it is smart, and having this kind of like resolution at the end where it's like, well, who did come out of this on top, or at least ahead of other countries, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense also to think about it for other RPGs. Not saying that I'm going to adopt like a winning, kind of mechanism in other kinds of RPGs, but I think it makes sense to think about trying to specify player desire. And I've seen games do it more or less lightly, but it's so funny how that's missing from like the OD&D world, where everyone's desire is just get gold, which equals XP, which equals a domain, which equals power. It's the Conan the Barbarian power fantasy, and it's very atomized and individualist. Whereas now I feel like you could imagine so many other versions, like even just thinking about because y'all know a lot more anime than me, but like Dungeon Meshi, right? Like Delicious in Dungeon has such a nice twist on that. It's an OD&D party, but they want something specific, right? One of their members has been eaten. So even though they sort of start off just generic murder hobos, we never really experience that. Like we get them when they have a goal that is a very human, normal goal. Save your sibling. And then because of that, they get these like interesting ecological goals, like no spoilers, but they get other goals that are things that a human could be interested in besides money. And like money's maybe always there. So I think it's interesting to think about game design where you give people different levers to push and pull that aren't just money or like power fantasy.
Well, that's interesting. You say that like the goal of OD&D is gold, because like man, I never think about that at all. Like when I think it's more about like having the most attention at the table, or like it becomes, if there is no goal, then it becomes the table itself is the goal.
Well, I'm talking about, so there's 3 layers, right? Exogenous, like Eric. Endogenous, your character's experience as an avatar of you in a game with rules. And then diegetic, which is your character doesn't know they're in a game. There's no sense of the simulation. They are Lothralfagar, the elf barbarian lord or whatever. And so
no. I agree with you.
It's to be funny and get attention. For in the rules of original D&D, it is to get gold. It says this is the goal of the game, right? Kill minotaurs, etc., kobolds, whatever, get gold.
Sorry, I meant like in the way I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean in the ability to, in a very sort of like, what's the Christopher Nolan one when you go into dreams?
Inception.
In a very Inception sort of way, like, can I go to that next level and immerse myself in the role play and the game in order to achieve? It's like you can't pursue your character's goals if the goal is boring. It doesn't allow you to come out of your human self and participate. So you're just ending up on the surface and never plunging in deeper.
And I really like this game too for the way we did it over just email earlier today, of like we all went off, like we talked a little about, but the most we talked about was kind of the robot background thing, which even then I think we all maybe had something different in mind. But then we
I should have specified that. No, it's fine.
I like that it was ambiguous though. I thought
but we all had specific like country goals, and I thought that was interesting that we each actually had fairly different takes. I think we had 3 radically different takes on like what a future robot intelligence would do and would want, and yet we made characters that were effectively playable.
Yeah.
So to your point, they weren't boring to me. I wasn't like, oh man, what a boring decision, right?
Yeah.
That's something that's like very explicit in the text. That's the second paragraph in the setting one, which I kind of glossed over as we were moving forward. You're sketching out basic ideas, so you're on the same page, but don't go into more detail. The characters will flesh out the majority of the world. Think of it like this. If you're watching a cartoon and there was a group of druids and shamans that had to live alongside a steampunk nation state of biohack gnomes, you wouldn't blink an eye. They're united by the fact that the great darkness is coming, and the only way to fight it off is to empower the liminal orbs. Obviously, like, who cares? Like, anything we do on our own is just the way that it is, but we're unified by this one-sentence summary of why we need to call the meeting to order.
Yeah, and that can be, and these are lessons, I imagine, Eric, you'd agree. And sorry, Chris, you should jump in with thoughts as well, but I'm just thinking of like for teaching people D&D or any RPG, you could use an idea like that. You could say like, what's the one sentence that unifies you all that isn't boring, that isn't just you want money or power, but something more specific. And that could sort of spark a lot of ideas in any game. So I think there's a lot of good sort of design at that level here.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially in D&D like games where it's a lot of you're just kind of dropped in, you meet at a tavern, suddenly you're an adventurer. Like, what the fuck is that about?
I hate that so much.
I do like the idea of having kind of a shared goal that everybody agrees on, and then you allow it to build out from there. It reminds me of some stuff from like Dungeon World and some of those like Powered by the Apocalypse fantasy games a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got to say, something I really enjoy about this game as well is that there's no math. It's great.
The only math is remembering how many points of 1 you have.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy tally.
Yeah, there's something really fun about not rolling dice. I really love it, especially when you're introducing mechanics. I was considering a lot of rock, paper, scissors mechanics that I had done before. I invented like a rock, paper, scissors mechanic to do ship combat and join the party. And I was like, in a way that it's like, okay, obviously, so you have the triangle of rock, paper, scissors, but then you can introduce more moves for you to like throw more scissors at them, or like do 2 scissors beat a rock? That's kind of an interesting idea. I'm not really sure. So it's like, let's find some other game mechanics here. And I wanted to move away from numbers, from dice, from coins, from whatever. I kind of like doing this, and these moves that are obviously are pretty PBTA inspired. It always felt like, well, this is the game I can do. We're playing the docket and we're arguing, but then I can throw out the move whenever I want to have some game control going on.
I would argue maybe rock, paper, scissors could be really fun, especially if you imagine a version of this, because this feels like a one-off, and like you say in the book, it could be used for world building, both of which feel very accurate. But you could imagine maybe some replayability with different kinds of, I'm thinking of the game The King's Dilemma, but like, you rock, paper, scissors, and adding a little of that kind of quote unquote crunch, but still without dice or keeping track of a lot. If you wanted to have more decisions and more voting, I will say it went really fast. I thought it would take longer, but we almost got through 3 naturally. And I could see playing actually like multiple sort of takes in the same world if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say it would be really interesting, and I'm curious, Eric, if you've done this, if you've tried any kind of like legacy play where you have one group that it could operate as a campaign, and especially with the Magic Tavern rule, as you've been calling it, and the kind of like yes and improv thing going on. But I really like the idea of establishing a history over time and like having to remember that history and being like, well, the last time we met, we talked about the Battle of Boopa-Doopa-Doo, but what about the War of Baba-Dabba-Da? And it's, like a way to create a kind of living world.
If I make an expansion of this where I add more moves and more personality goals, I will definitely come up with legacy play. I'm now thinking about introducing the rock, paper, scissors, because I like what you're saying here, but I really like that you had to convince people to do it. That's kind of the whole reason of the points and why there are superlatives. It's like not only the only way to get votes is through move machinations, but really convincing people, and that is the level of play here that happens here. And I find it really funny that Wythe won so handily when all of us thought we got what we wanted. And that's what I really love about this game. But for legacy play, I kind of love it's like, okay, let's play out the year. Yeah. Everyone has a conflict with someone else. Whoever wins, you got to pick someone, start a conflict with them, and then do rock, paper, scissors to see if you win. And then that would play out the things that happened over the last year, and then you have another Diamond Knot meeting. I find that would be cool as hell. I love that.
That would be really fun, and a way of like keeping things moving in the background between sessions as well, right? It's like, okay, well, maybe we have a conflict. It could be a trade thing, it could be literal warfare, but then you just like determine really quickly what happens outside of the actual play space and then bring it in.
Yeah, I could see that tacking back and forth. It does remind me, though, to push back on that, Eric, about convincing. There's a really good book by an anthropologist and legal scholar named Annalise Riles that I recommend called The Network Inside Out. That's about...
This is what I wanted for Why We Roll. This is why I started the game.
This is why you started the show.
To throw anthropology at me about my game. I love it. This is what I was here for.
But yeah, like it's a good book about the UN and like and law and in transnational conflicts. So what your games are, right? Transnational conflicts and how it's resolved by essentially assaulting the other side with paper, which could be litigation or it could be like really long, polite requests. Like that's what the UN is. It's a bunch of people kind of like your game, right? Really politely or not so politely being like, I really think we should all do X because it's good for everyone, even if it's very obviously only good for me. But it's sort of a book about like how that actually functions and whose jobs it is to like come up with all this crap and who reads it. And this is like kind of like now I bet a lot of it is moving like a lot of law to like sort of AI cloud-based crypto, Bitcoin, whatever. What's it called? Blockchain.
Yeah.
But I think there's still something interesting about that idea of like, this job is actually not a good job, which you do sort of note in there somewhere. And I think it'd be interesting to think about. You have your player characters, Lothralfhagen, the barbarian elf wizard lord, and then you suddenly cut to like the guy who's the representative for the district in which Ralph Laufragan bought a castle, and he has to like convince the king of another country to like back off. Like it's sort of like actually the opposite of murder picaresque like adventuring.
Mm-hmm.
It's just arguing and reams of paper, but that doesn't mean it's boring if you inhabit that avatar, if you sort of take that on and think about it and from that angle.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I find it so funny that we need to meet the government head at the end of the game. It's like every single person has to talk to their boss in front of all the other players at the end of the game, which I find so deeply funny. It's probably my favorite part of it. It's probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
Where you need, and then of course, and then one of the people who are trying to win against you has to play your boss and determine if you did a good job or not. Like, it has to be so obviously ironclad that you did what you wanted. Like what happened with the squirrel people, that for you to get that point, for someone who wants to win against you, playing the God King who hates you, to give you a point.
You could also, because I think a lot of what you're doing there is talking about political constituencies. Like, what do people want from representation in some sort of representational government? So you have some power of some kind, and we don't know exactly what it is. It might not be good, by your imagined standards, but there's a bunch of people and you send off a representative to do a thing on your behalf. They come back. I love that moment too. I thought that was really smart that the game just doesn't end. There's this denouement. Yeah. But I was just thinking, when you said that, what if it was like one nation and you are different political sects or factions within that nation? I feel like you could use the same rules and you could explore kind of, instead of different nations struggling transnational issues, you're exploring like, we're all technically living together. Yeah. Almost imagine a nation riven in two, but not by clear geographic lines, where some people believe vaccines are bad and other people are not dumb. And then they have to
where some people believe that people should have their needs met and others want everyone murdered who doesn't look like them.
So I don't know. I wonder if you could
tell you what a mental exercise.
I was writing this game a lot last year, and this is not what I thought this would happen when I was doing a rollout in November 2024. I'll tell you that much. No, 100% true. To first touch on the outside of the thing you're talking about, is something I referred to at the beginning of the episode. You can use this to play out any meeting of backdoor meeting or government meeting or whatever. Yeah. I just like doing it that it's like, because again, when I created it, it resembled the pirate meeting at One Piece, but also in our campaign, we had a meeting of the representatives of the 4 countries in this world. So we all came together. So that's just where I jumped from. And also saying that you get to play out a secret meeting of the world government is fun. Yeah. But yeah, you could do this of a cabal. You could do this of a meeting of the 4 baddies of a campaign that you're doing. You could do definitely like a real Congress style sort of thing. And then they got to go back to the president, or they got to go back to their political parties or something. Like, it's kind of interesting. It's definitely kind of interesting, but you can use this framework for any sort of government meeting that has a docket where you want the individual representatives to have agency for their own selfish goals.
Yeah. Model our Senate.
Model our insert bureaucracy.
Doesn't work as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't flow. It doesn't flow.
Model our local longshoremen's union. All right. Well, I think
that would be hilarious, is to simulate an AFL-CIO meeting.
Yeah, man. This is we might do some hacks, Eric. We'll just
please. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Do some labor hacks.
I think
if AOC comes on the stream and plays the union hacked Model Our Nations, you need to tell me or it's entrapment.
I mean, we definitely need to tell you, but also, we also need to get like someone who's much more vocally like anti-genocide than if we're going to get AOC. I'd be.
I know it was just a funny thing to say on the joke. I'm sorry, wife.
We're doing the half. I'm here to be a downer, so I'm doing my job.
You're really coming down off of playing a squirrel North Korean earlier.
That's just me. That's
Listen. Sometimes you have to like do the opposite of the embodiment of the character to bring yourself out of it. You know, it's like wife doesn't want to be a hyperactive robot squirrel all night.
Kind of do, but yeah, limitations of the body and the flesh.
You got to get the kick to get out of the Inception.
That's right. Yeah. You got to make sure the top's not spinning.
No, but I mean, on a serious, I do also think we should be allowed to, you know, like talk about politics on the show. We generally don't. We almost always focus on games because they're more fun, and that's, you know, the bigger, I think, of the two topics. But I mean, you know, that is the other.
No, I agree with you, and I guess like really to answer the thing you said, truly, I was writing this. And I think we're seeing this now about how our representatives are really just out for themselves. The fact that are so many American, like, let's not even talk about the current stuff that's happening that's nonsense. Like, let's talk about shit that like the more banal evil that fucking happens to us constantly, about like how all of our U.S. representatives just trade stocks openly and know what's going to happen and enrich themselves currently. I love that there is an app out there where you can mirror every single one of Nancy Pelosi's stocks and make money on it.
Completely
and like,
insane.
And as much as it's funny to be like, ha ha ha, Succession, that's just like the Murdochs, ha ha ha. Like that's they're bad people who are so consumed by their own selfish ideas and money and whatever. But it's like, it's the same thing of any government type. And I think that's the kind of thing that I'm focusing on. Right. And it's fun and funny of what we're trying to do, but it's also true that like, and I wasn't even thinking about like U.S. representatives. I was thinking about like one step even further. Like we're talking about ambassadors here. Yeah. In my head, these people were like ambassadors from their countries sent to this meeting. But like, what if an ambassador actually had to do something, like actually go to a meeting where it mattered? But like, I 100% agree with you, wife. Like it's good. It's not as overtly silly, but the entire outlay is ridiculously silly and means nothing for no one. I mean, one of my favorite moves in this entire thing, I really love Lifelong Bureaucrat, Chris. I'm so glad that you pulled that one. But one of my favorite ones here was boop, 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 boop. Oh, on the road again. That's a personal goal. Get a point if a situation arises that you have to leave your spouse and kids for a year or more.
That was the other one that I almost took, honestly, because I thought that was very funny. Where it's like, oh man, now I have to, like in our scenario, it'd be like, well, now obviously I have to oversee the Phaedron part of the construction of this, and that's going to take forever.
Yeah, and the other obelisks, like your obelisk, polycool is all sad. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting design choice, Eric. And we should wrap it up in a second, but to have the, there's tension sometimes between the endogenous, like, I want to win the game, and then what the diegetic, like, what would be good for the people of X. And I think that's getting at some of the deeper things you're saying about, like, you know, not that this is the goal of this game, but, you know, or should be in any game necessarily, but like modeling, you know, corruption, or like, how do you fight back? How do you push back against those things? Which I think we do model in more simplistic ways, even just with fighting an evil wizard who rules an empire, right? Like that's like a sort of very simplified, like anti-corruption, you know, you know, like neo-Nazi kind of thing. And yet, you know, in real life, it turns out to be more complicated and harder to get rid of the evil neo-Nazis.
Especially for doing, I mean, you're supposed to, if you're using this in a campaign, this is like the episode away from the PCs, right? You're going to go do something else. So it's like people are doing stuff away from you that have nothing to do with you, and they don't care what you're doing. They're trying to just like do something that builds them like a geodesic dome that gives you tons of energy that screws everybody else over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the thing, is like the evil in this world doesn't stop, or the government systems in our world don't stop just because we're fighting Nazis over in the corner of the map, for that matter. So I think you're definitely hitting on this. I think the one final thing as we try to wrap up, you had asked me a little bit about the art of this book.
Yeah. We were talking about that, I think, before we started taping.
Yeah, you can look at it. You can see that there's this painting of kind of Congress in the front, and I have some like woodcuts and stuff in there. I pulled a lot from Creative Commons and from like the Met archive and stuff like that, of like see Creative Commons paintings of representatives of government. Like, what does it look like when someone paints or makes woodcuts of government? And I think it looks really beautiful. There was like a guide going around, I think, in a post like Morkborg situation of like, here's how to use paintings to look good. And I'm like, I kind of fell in love with some of this stuff. Nice. The one I use on the cover is, can I tell you an art history story for a second?
Yeah, please.
The painting on the front is a painting of Congress that Samuel Morse did in the 1810s. You know, the guy who invented Morse code?
Yep.
The very dude.
Before he was a scientist, he was a painter. And, he was hanging out in DC, and he's like, you know what you do as a painter? I'm going to go to Congress. I'm going to paint it. That's going to be great.
Obviously.
So he did that. What are you going to do? So he did that. He went to Congress and like, yeah, sure, go set up over there. And he painted this like really, and you can see how big it is. It's on both the front and back cover is this really big painting in these beautiful golds and reds and browns and like the light is so warm in Congress. And he painted it, and in the 1820s, he showed it around, as you do. And everyone thought this painting sucked. That's why he stopped being a painter, because he was bad at it, so he started being a scientist. The reason why is that he painted Congress in the 1810s during Reconstruction. Everyone instead wanted to see paintings of Congress people fighting each other. The drama of all of us figuring out if our country's gonna fall apart. So Keith wanted to make Congress look beautiful, to make it look as upstanding as he thought America was going to look like. But really, what the people really wanted was the drama. And I think that's very symbolic of how we play this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Add it to the next edition. We want to know the Samuel Morse story. We love to know the art. All right. Well, Chris, any final thoughts before you thank Eric and, bid everyone adieu?
No, just where can we find you, Eric? We'll do all the stuff in the show notes and all that good stuff. But where can people find you? Where can people pick up a copy of Model Our Nations?
You can pick up Model Our Nations through a few different places. Check out the link in the episode description, which I'm sure that Wife and Chris are including. I'm selling this through the Join the Party merch store. I thought I didn't want to do it through Itch, and drive-through RPG is a nightmare. Just because, I'm trying to own your own website sort of thing. So I'm doing it through the Join the Party merch store. But if you are buying a bunch of other stuff from Indie Press Revolution, Model Our Nations is up there as well. You can get a PDF and you can get a print copy. The print copy are so luxurious and beautiful. I think the print copies are really pretty.
They are very nice.
So please check it out there. But, you can find the actual play show that inspired this, Join the Party. I'm the best DM in podcasting. I hope you'll enjoy listening to Join the Party. You can follow me on Blue Sky. I'm Eric Silver there, and just talking about the new tabletop RPGs I'm writing. I'm working on one where you work on a true crime podcast and everyone dies.
Nice.
Great.
Well, you'll have to let us know when you are ready to play test that as well. We'll have to have you back on.
I'm drafting it right now. I'm playtesting it right now. I'm gonna hopefully play it out and join the party and then come back. But y'all should check it out. It's really fun. I reworked the whole game loop yesterday. I'm excited.
Very cool.
Sick. Well, with that, thank you. It's been Eric Silver from Multitude and Join the Party, and now Model Our Nations. We did model some nations. They were fun. We all won. We all saved the human. Nobody did anything actually that bad, now that I think about it.
No, Wythe won. Wythe won. That's how these games work. Wythe was the winner.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that it's a finite game. I'm sorry. Yes, apparently I won. All hail Scuridania! With that, this has been Why We Roll.
Oh boy.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Why We Roll.
Our theme music is by the brilliant Sam Tyndall and Arpline.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can find us on all social media at Stillfleet. You can find out more about Danse Macabre, Stillfleet, and all of our games over at stillfleet.com.
Every hero strikes out on their adventure for a different reason.
To prove myself worthy of my mother's praise.
To write my own story and discover who I really am.
To prove to my family that I am more than they believe me to be.
To revive the god that has chosen me.
But when the fragile balance of the world is in jeopardy, and sinister forces move in the darkness, heroes will be tested, pushed to their limits and beyond. And it will be left to them to determine if they are up to the task. There is a darkness rising. Will they be able to overcome the challenges and meet this evil head-on?
For my god.
For my story.
For my freedom.
For the world.
To restore the balance. Modified Role Season 2, The Chronicles of Erin, a D&D 5e actual play podcast. New season, new characters, new story. Find us on all the usual podcasting apps or at modifiedrole.com.